Welcome to another episode of the Big Brain MMA podcast. I'm your host again, your residential full-time MMA bettor, BigSteve, back for a special Bellator bonanza, Bellator 294 and 295 in one card. Didn't think I would do this. I'm very busy this week, competing again on Sunday. Definitely want to be in a better mindset than last time. But here we are. I've done a lot of the card. I did pretty much all of 294 and a lot of 95, so it's something at least. I'll talk about every single fight, even if I haven't taped it. And if there's a lot of live viewers, hopefully you can chat to me and we can discuss some of these fights even without tape. But I've taped most of them, like I would say 70% of the two cards. Taped the whole main card, so yep. I can't think of anything else. I think we're good to get into it. Yeah, like and subscribe, like always. Appreciate the few new subscribers I've received. Thank you very much. Alrighty. Why wait any longer? Let's get to it. Anthony Adams, Sharaf Davlatmuradov. This fight, it seems like there is a bit of value on Anthony Adams. He's got a very anti-wrestling game plan. He just skirts on the outside and is a decent kickboxer. Not much danger to him whatsoever. He's just a decision machine, point fighter. Bunch of decisions other than a fluky KO and LFA. He's fought this level of competition and style, I should say, before many times. Impa, the Murzakhan, not Murzakhan, let me see what this guy's name is. Murtazaliyev, and he beat him. And Dalton Rosser, he did okay, but he still lost to 30-27. And old mate Sharaf is a wrestler. I just think I don't know, $1.40. I don't think he's the best Russian dude. He trains with Tokov. He had a split decision with Tokov in his Bellator debut. That wasn't a split. He beat Kleber Silva, who's a decent regional guy. Beat Brett Cooper, the really old wash Brett Cooper that was in PFL. He also got knocked out by him too. So I don't know what to say. He most likely wins a close decision here. But I can't fault anyone taking a shot on Anthony Adams. It's just Adams doesn't separate himself. He just fights too close for me to take him as a dog. Next fight, Chris Lincione, Blake Smith. This I've been going back and forth on this one. I know some people playing Blake Smith, at dog and also at minus money. He's an athletic, strong, physical guy. He's got some power. Seems to be well-rounded. He's fought decent level of competition. Kennedy, St. Louis, Paris Artis was 5-0. Kamachubekov, who beat Semmelsberger, and he was the CFFC champion. He was losing that fight, and then he got a guillotine in round 3. He's getting taken down. He lost to Chris Brown. Decent level of competition. I went to a split with Carlos Alexandra, who I've never heard of, although he's 17-5, so I guess he's a veteran. What it comes down to is he cracks hard. He hurt this Paris Artis guy multiple times. He can get takedowns, but his main weakness is a little bit low volume, unless he's exploding, and he can be taken down himself too. So, someone like Chris Lincione, one of my biggest regrets is getting talked out of playing him as a massive dog over Cody Law. He won that via split. Spent a lot of time on his back rounds 2 and 3. And he still won just because he's very rabies, very aggressive. He's constantly throwing off his back. He's got active jiu-jitsu, but he's super hittable, and plays too much ground game. So the problem is, you play him as a big dog just because he kind of fights like Brandon Royval. No takedown defense, no defense in general. He gets dropped a lot. Not because he's scrappy, because he has good cardio. He'll fight for your money. He's a good dog. He's barely a dog, but I see in America he's probably in America, he's already a favorite. So now I'm kind of considering Blake Smith as a dog. Yeah, I can't back Chris as a favorite. No way in hell. Just because he spent 2 rounds on his back against Cody Law, and it's how many times is he going to win a decision? Throwing elbows off his back. That's just lucky. And not long ago, he was 30-27 by Don Shainis. Right, he's not the greatest UFC fighter. In 2022. That's just because he couldn't stop a takedown and he just kept getting reversed. He almost rear-naked choked Don Shainis, who's a very opportunistic jiu-jitsu guy. And Blake Smith, he hurt this Parasitis guy. He finished the CFFC champ, the Kazakhstani dude. And he actually hurt Kennedy St. Louis as well. And then Luis grappled him to a decision. So yeah, I'm back and forth on this fight. Flipping, the odds are too close for me either way. But I'm kind of contemplating Blake Smith. I think he can drop Lincione multiple times. We'll see. It's nothing I'm overly confident about this fight. So I probably don't want my money involved in it. Speaking of which, Tyrell Fortune, Sergey Belostany, similar fight. I mean, it's a pick 'em now. This Sergey dude is not bad. I thought he'd be more of a fraud, considering a lot of people are talking crap about him in my circles. He's a decent guy. He's 27. He's explosive. He's powerful. He can crack hard. He seems to have okay wrestling that doesn't really use. A lot of round 1 KOs. He's got some well-known names on there. Mark Godbeer. Maybe not well-known names, but good records. Caio Alcana, 12-4. Souza, 10-4. Alex Caruja, 10-4. All right, Dimitri, whatever, 19-5. And he's knocked a lot of these guys out. Right? Now the thing with his, whenever he goes long, horrible cardio, horrible gas tank. So yeah. On the other side, Tyrell Fortune, bit of a flake. Faded him against my boy Daniel James. Daniel James money train so far in Bellator. He also finishes people. Finished Matt Mitrione, finished a lot of these bums that they've given him. When he goes long, he's kind of flaking. He lost the split to Linton Basal, where he constantly kept making mistakes. He got knocked out by Daniel James after almost rear-naked choking him in the first round. Got knocked out by Tim Johnson, who we'll speak about later, which is a red flag. Really good wrestler. The way I see this, there's a high chance Tyrell Fortune gets knocked out in the first round by Sergey. Sergey seems decent. And if it does go long, Tyrell Fortune, most likely wins because he's gone 3 rounds before. He can use his wrestling. I'm leaning towards the fact that he's a better wrestler than Sergey. Sergey's been taken down by some people that I don't know on the regional scene. And Tyrell, if Tyrell wrestles early, that could be his best chance, potentially get a submission. This Sergey dude, he's got 2 losses, and they're to Magomed Bakayev, both to the same guy, and he's been rear-naked choked in the first round, just after the 4-minute mark both times, 2016 and 2018. And this guy's not that good, right? This is he's 11-6 now, this Makayev dude. So yeah, I mean, I think Tyrell has a good jiu-jitsu advantage. He's been doing competitions, grappling competitions, and winning. He's got a wrestling advantage. Sergey's got speed and power early. They're both smaller heavyweights. Pick'em seems accurate, although I kind of lean Tyrell if he could only survive and not get knocked out. Maybe. He would have been an okay dog shot. But yeah, maybe the under 1.5 could be good. It's the day before. I still don't have odds for over-unders. Maybe someone can tell me what the over-unders are there. Under 1.5. It's definitely going to be lined at 1.5. So curious on that fight. Okay. Let me just address some of the comments. By the way, I'm doing a little bit of a new setup, as you can see. I don't have my light. I'm also not charging my laptop, so hopefully it doesn't die. If it's about to die, we'll move. UFC betting experience, how are you, sir? Chris weighed in at 152. Missed weight. That's fine. FIFA Gaming, Blake Smith is actually the favorite still. My boy Couch Warrior told me that he's an underdog now. So he's in America, so I assume the odds will move. Smith is there we go. Smith is a dog on most books. Oh, minus 165 for under 1.5. It's a little bit juicy. We'll see. All right, next fight, Kilias Mota, Kenneth Cross. Interesting one. A lot of people taking Mota at Juice. I get it. He seems like the better fighter. I've always had issues with Mota. He's very stiff. He's very rigid. I thought he was a bit chinny ever since that Derek Anderson illegal head kick quit. And he's been knocked out by Austin Hubbard in round 5 in LFA, which I can't find. But, he's come back. He's lost a split to Mike Hamill. He got wobbled there too. But maybe Mike Hamill hits harder than we think. Just knocked out Brown. Outgrinded Dan Moret. Outgrinded Jara Pacheco, who's another young explosive dude that they brought in from the regional scene. So he's a grinder. He's strong. He's physical. He's just a little bit stiff and laboured, and he's got nice power too. Kenneth Cross, we've seen this guy on Contender Series in the UFC. He's very explosive, very aggressive, hands low, blitzes in. He seems to have, he occasionally grapples as well. He seems to be hard to hold down. Just a good athlete, very good athlete. But he doesn't really control his cardio. He gassed really badly on Contender Series against Kevin Seiler, 10-0, who hasn't fought since. Not sure why. And, he still ended up winning a decision because he was just, the athleticism difference was so different between him and his opponent. And, I saw his the fight after that against Gerald SQ XFC. That's on Fight TV. And he grappled a little bit more there and used ground and pound to win. And against Jose Martinez, XFC Young Guns 4, his last fight, that's actually on YouTube in highlight form, the whole event. Essentially, you see the whole fight from highlights because he's the main event, I'm pretty sure. And, the same thing there. He's a lot quicker, explosive guy. He's cracking him. He ends up on his back a bit and looks to be gassed again at a point, and then he just comes back and out grapples and reverses Jose Martinez to another decision. So he's still going hard, not really preserving his gas tank. That was in 2021. It's 2023 now. He's 28. I think he's improving. Like I said, he's got a lot of athletic gifts. I can see Mota winning. Right, this is a step up. All these guys that he's beat are not the greatest. I mean, Robert Hale is not a bad regional guy. He knocked him out in 1 minute. He got submitted by Corey Coop, which is not ideal. And it was round 3. I assume he gassed. So, yeah, I mean, I get the love for Mota. I just can't do it at this price. I mean, I don't know how much value is on here, especially with how one-dimensional he is. He's most likely just going to hold on to Cross for 3 rounds. And he's so hittable that Cross is going to have a big power advantage early. I just think he might get cracked, dropped. At this line, I don't know how much value is on Mota, so I'm just going to pass. Next fight. Let me just address the comments. Misha the Punk, how are you? Yo. Don't forget to click the like button, guys. Let's help BigSteve. What a legend. Misha's a streamer, a gaming streamer. If you're interested in gaming, he's a very entertaining dude. Lives in Serbia, but can speak English. So, talented guy. All right, next fight, Levan Chikeli, Michael Lombardo. Didn't look too much into this. I just watched the Levan Chikeli last fight against Faraldo, which I've never seen. I actually bet Chikeli there. I was surprised that it was wrestling, which we haven't seen before. He said he wanted to work on his grappling more. And Faraldo actually has a decent wrestling background himself, so that was good. He's a young guy, explosive, very fast. He's got power in his hands. Slows down a little bit. Very fast twitch. Good fighter. And Michael Lombardo, I mean, he's the complete opposite. He's just a well-rounded, jack of all trades. He was in Contender Series twice. Got out-grappled by Cole Dalkis up at middleweight. Held his own, really good submission defense. And then fought a bunch of nobodies in the regional scene. And then, wrestled Corey Coop at Contender Series again. Shut him down, shut his jiu-jitsu game down. And, didn't get the contract. He just doesn't really do much. PFL, he fought Karan Bowen, who's a can, beat him with calf kicks. And then made his debut against Carl Crutchmer in Bellator, got grappled for 3 rounds, and then knocked out Mark Lemminger as a slight dog. And Lemminger's quite chinny. There, he ended up on his back too and some grappling exchanges, and yeah, he's just good. He's okay everywhere. Okay boxing, durable guy, durable, uh, good submission defense, solid wrestling, solid cardio, trains at a good camp. It's just he's going to be a little bit of, he's going to be at a speed and explosiveness advantage here. It's going to be a well-rounded guy that just does nothing special versus an explosive uh, Chikeli who seems to be good everywhere, and he seems to have good wrestling as well. Aline Chikeli is just minus 200. I don't think he's going to potentially run through Lombardo. I think it's especially if he goes into round 3, we're looking at it potentially. Maybe he can take a round off him, Lombardo, if Chikeli slows down a bit, because he lost the round to Feraldo as well. But yeah, not much. What can I say? Not much interest. Speaking of not much interest, Danny Sabatello, Marcos Brando. Breno's a beast. He's a very explosive, powerful guy. I just quickly take this one. You know what Sabatello's going to do? He's going to hold on and grind. And there's not much footage of Brando. Apparently, Brando is a jiu-jitsu guy. I heard LFA commentators talking about that when he fought Ari Farias, who's a 5-time world champion in jiu-jitsu, and he sparked him with one punch, cold in 50 seconds. And then, he beat Josh Hill with a comprehensive decision in his debut as an underdog. He just dropped Hill multiple times. He did get taken down in round 3 by Hill and kind of settled on his back a bit and seemed to be a little bit puffed. So, yeah, I mean, that's all I have really in terms of grappling. If anything, if I was going to play Brando, I'll play him by finish. I mean, I guess he could win a decision, multiple moments. The guy hits very hard, and he's 25 years old. I'm sure he's improving. Some money's come in on him as well. So, he was a much better price before. But yeah, that's all I have. I don't really know. Let's move on. Aline Blanco versus Sarah McMahon. This is the first dog I was kind of interested in. Only problem is, Aline is 40 years of age, and I mean, Sarah is 42. This whole card right here is a bunch of old dogs, washed, you can say, that don't fill you with confidence, and a lot of them are untrustworthy. We know what Sarah McMahon's going to do. She's very athletic. She's a explosive, a beast wrestler. She wins round 1 at an insane high clip. If she doesn't finish you, she will just get a clear 10-9 with the insane amount of control. Finished Gina Mazzani in the first. Won round 1 against Ketlin Vieira, who has elite takedown defense. Won round 1 against Malay Renault. Had some crucifix on her. 130-27 against Lena Landsberg. Won round 1 against Juliana Pena. Had her back. Won the whole fight against Carol Rosa. So if you're an athletic woman with bad takedown defense and no get-ups, McMahon is still going to win. She usually gets beat when you bring out the quit in her. You submit her later on, crack her, like Malay and Renault did, gas her out. And she's moving up in weight, and she's 42 years of age, and she's fighting a decent-sized featherweight, Aline, who's a good boxer. I taped a lot of her fights just to see what she's like, off her back. I didn't go too far back. I didn't want to spend too much time on one fight with so many cards and so many fights. But yeah, I went back to her Julia Budd fight in 2017, the rematch, and she essentially only got taken down once at the end of round 2. Still lost a split decision. Big John had her up, so that was a bit annoying. Amanda Bell ran through in 22 seconds. Leslie Smith, I don't think she got taken down there. Chris Cyborg took her down in the first match. In that fight, that was a bit worrying. Every time she got taken down, she was kind of mounted. She was getting pounded, and she kind of gave up her back to be rear naked choked. Deanna Silva took her down a couple times, but also Deanna Silva got in deep on her hips, and she kind of stuffed it as well. And Pam Sorensen, I think she stuffed every single takedown. She might have got taken down against the cage once, but she worked her way up straight away. Pam Sorensen is washed, super unathletic. We've seen that when she lost to the Australian judoka girl in the last one. And then Chris Cyborg, took her down a few times in the last fight as well, and It's annoying because every time she gets taken down, it's the end of the round, like 30 seconds to go. So I can't tell if she's okay staying on her back with the round ending. But in one of the rounds against Chris Cyborg, she got taken down at the start of the round, maybe round 2, and took her about 2 minutes 30 seconds, and she ended up getting up eventually, slowly. It was kind of like a mixture of Cyborg not being able to hold it down anymore, not being able to set up submission. So what it comes down to, look, I think Sarah's going to take her down. Sarah takes everyone down. Blanco, I don't like how she looks on her back. That's a concern. I don't mind her takedown defense. She's good at defending even when they get in on her hips. But yeah, it's just minus 200 on Sarah McMahon. I mean, moving up in weight, 42. The Carl Rosa fight was a good fight for her. That was a year and 3 months ago now. Yeah, it's a dog or pass. It's just, she'll definitely be losing. She'll lose the first round. If she can stuff one takedown in round 2, that's when the doubt's going to come into Sarah McMahon. And I feel like round 3, Eileen will win. The big caveat here is she's a big featherweight and she cracks. You need to be able to crack hard to put some fear in Sarah McMahon. But on the other hand, Eileen doesn't really have a submission game. So, yeah, it's a tough one. See what the line. A lot of people I'm talking to think McMahon is going to smash her. So, I don't know. Minus 200. We'll see. Let's move on. Timothy Johnson, Syed Soma. This was the second dog I considered, a second old washed underdog. Soma, undersized, heavyweight, good cardio. He sticks to the moves, skirts on the outside, leg kicks, calf kicks, and he just looks to stay clean and win a point fighting decision. He's quite fast. He's got great cardio for a heavyweight because he's undersized and apparently he swims a lot. Just no power, not much danger. Not the most athletic dude. He has a wrestling background. He just doesn't use it much. And yeah, doesn't really put stamps on fights. He lost the unanimous decision to Tyrell Fortune, which is a red flag. Knocked out Ronnie Marks, his chinny. He was kind of losing to Vitaly Minakov and then kicked Vitaly's finger and broke it and won. And, I lost money on him against Davion Franklin. He looked like he won that fight clearly. And Davion Franklin just stole it just from throwing the bigger moments. Like I said, because Soma has no power. And he stole those rounds, even though he had a lot worse cardio. And then I won money back on him by fading him against Gokhan Sarikam, who was just another explosive athletic kickboxer. I thought the speed gap will be too big, the difference will be massive. And Gokhan, dropped him in the first round and then tried to grapple him and then got reversed by a much better wrestler. And he just kept trying to grapple in that fight. And I was like, what are you doing, man? You're the better kickboxer here. So Gokhan could have really 30-27 in there. I don't know why he fought that game plan. He's just an idiot. Tim Johnson, just another unathletic dude, massive guy. He pushes the limit, heavyweight limit. He blitzes in. He blitzes in with his boxing. He kind of has underrated power. He's knocked out Tyrell Fortune, who we mentioned, with one punch. Knocked out Mick Mitrione, ground and pound after headbutting him. Almost knocked out Linton Marcel in his last fight, and then engaged in grappling. And I had money on him there as a dog, and I could just see that if he didn't finish Vassell there, Vassell was going to reverse him and get on top of him and pound him out, which is exactly what happened. The Valentin Moldavsky fight, I can't find that, but I watched that when I was taping for Beta. That's the fight that made me want to play Beta as a massive underdog against Valentin. That fight was a lot closer. Valentin essentially won by being the slightly faster, cleaner fighter. I think Johnson won 2 different rounds on each judge's scorecard, so it was close. It was very close. But yeah, he's quite slow. So, Syed is going to be the faster, the cleaner fighter. He's going to be giving up at least 20 pounds. Tim Johnson just fights like he's underwater. When he fought Fedor Emelianenko as a favorite, just the speed difference. I said one punch will knock Fedor out, and he just couldn't hit him. He just kept missing. And Fedor's reflexes are not what they used to be, and it was still enough for him to dodge everything. So yeah, I get why Syed is the favorite. He's, like I said, better footwork, better evasiveness. Tim's probably going to miss him a lot. when Tim goes to clinch up, Soma's probably going to stuff all his takedowns. Tim, not the best wrestling. He's just, how is Soma going to cover? At the current price, they're giving him 70%. So they're only giving Tim Johnson 30% to win. 30% to win a sloppy heavyweight fight where he's the bigger, I guess hits harder. And Soma, always goes to decision, always has close fights. So I'm tempted, but it's another one where I can just see. I can just see, Timothy hitting air the whole fight, and Soma kind of just sticking and moving to a clear 29-28. So yeah, it's another washed old sloppy dog that I'm considering. It's just I don't know if I'll play it. All right, before the main event, let's have a look at some comments. Brando inside the distance would be nice. Sarah up a weight class, I did mention that. Kurt Watanabe, my man from Poland. Steve, let's add some comments to the bank account, brother. Thanks for all the breakdowns. No worries, mate. That's the goal. How about that Pudilova decision, eh, Steve? How are you, mate? Indeed, I got saved there not playing. I woke up at 5 a.m. and to tape last week because there were so many cards, and I said, you know what? I've been taping so much. I'm not going to put myself through taping this fight at 5 a.m. And I passed on it, and then I saw my boy Statistics had Pudilova. Everyone had Pudilova, and I saw I missed round one, and everyone's like, oh, yeah, round one, easy. And then I saw she won round two, and I'm like, damn. And then I got saved. I got saved by the judges. I haven't seen round one, but I see some people saying that maybe not that much of a robbery. Appreciate this 22 fight breakdown, mate. Smashing it. Smash the like. Thank you, George. Big Bird UFC. Blanco and Cross beat dogs on 294 card. All right. Blanco and Cross, best dogs. I would say so. I mean, who's better? Cross, I kind of like. I've been liking Cross kind of for a while now. He's so gassy still, and he said in his interview he's coming for blood, so he's gonna come out there like an idiot, swinging bombs. Alrighty, main event. Liz Carmouche, Deanna Bennett, just a crazy line. $1.20 on Liz Carmouche. I mean, you can take Deanna Bennett just on pure principle alone. In their first fight, Deanna Bennett took round two clean. She took down Justine Kish and stayed on top for the majority of the round. And then in round 3, she got submitted with a rear naked choke. She said she was she pulled a hamstring in that fight, and then in her last fight against Kish, where it was a lot closer than the first one, she also said she popped her shoulder. So she's got a lot of excuses. But I mean, if you trust her, if she can get takedowns and hold Liz Carmouche down, then that's a path to victory. Liz is just a lot more explosive, a lot more athletic, has a bit more power, a lot faster, even though she's 40 years of age. I think her armbarring Juliana Velasquez it's what's juicing this line up. But this whole Bellator division is horrible. Juliana Velasquez beat Malay, who was trash, and now Velasquez had some hype, and she's also trash. And now, Carmouche beat her, and now she's $1.20 favorite. It's just hype from hype on these bad fighters. So yeah, massive dog or pass. I don't know if I want to hit it though. Might be a good live bet. It's a main event, so we'll see. Cool. I'll do a quick overview and then we'll move on. Anthony Adams, I guess the value's on the dog. I'm still considering maybe Shara as a parlay piece. We'll see. Overs could be good. I think they're juiced. Chris Lincione, Blake Smith, massive pass. I'm considering Blake Smith if he goes to the dog. Tari Fortune, Sergey, volatile fight. Anyone can win this. Maybe the under 1.5. Kenneth Cross, Mota, considering Cross, he's got a lot of speed and power and athleticism advantage. It's just that cardio. Like I said, considering him, Lombardo, Chikeli, Leon Chikeli, it's a bit juiced. Brando, I don't know. Sabatel's going to do his thing. I guess he can get cracked. Considering Arlene Blanco, we'll see where it goes. Considering Tim Johnson, again, not much confidence. And Bennett, insane line, dog or pass. I haven't played anything yet. Alrighty. Share this tab instead. Let's go. So Bellator 295. This is a much better card from an entertainment perspective, at least the higher level. All right, first fight, Alexei. I haven't taped this at all. I don't know these guys at all. This is rare for me not to know these people. This Russian dude apparently fought in Bellator. Renato Gomez, Shlemenko FC. Just looking at his record, I think he's the minus 200 favorite. Masuyaki Kikuri. I guarantee this guy's from Ryzen. Nah, Pancrase. Nah, no idea who these guys are. I haven't taped it. So maybe someone can say something in the chat. Lara Joanne, Bruna Ellen. I quickly taped this one. I just couldn't do it anymore. I was kind of taping all the women fights at once. You know, the Atega, the Joanne, the Bruna Ellen, the Malay, the Kana Watanabe, because they're all fighting each other, so you can kind of cross tape. I just couldn't do it anymore. I was getting burnt out. Too many women fights in a row. Bruna Ellen, you know, she always fights close. She's young. She had a close fight with Malay. You know, decision machine. She occasionally mixes in takedowns. She seems to have good jiu-jitsu, decent striking, doesn't put stamps on fights. And, you know, Lara Joanne is a grappler. You know, got some big reach and decent pop on her punches. She wants to grapple. She's got good, decent jiu-jitsu, decent top game. But she's not amazing. I mean, minus 200 on Joanne. There's got to be some value in Bruna Allen. I've seen some improvements in her fight against the Malay. But yeah, dogger pass, easy dogger pass. Davion Franklin, Kasim Aras, massive favorite. I assume this Kasim Aras is a bit of a fraud. Otherwise, why would he be such a giant favorite? Yeah, I haven't looked into him at all. He's on EMC, which is a German promotion. Beat some dudes. He hasn't always been a heavyweight. Maybe I'm mixing him up. Catchweight. Nah, he's always been a heavyweight. Yeah, haven't really taped it. Franklin's not really ever worthy of that favorite line because he's such a gasser, unless he's going to run through this RS guy. All right, Bobby King, Alan Cruz, haven't taped it. Keanu Diggs, Weber Almeida. Apparently, Diggs was a favorite. A massive underdog at some point, and that was a favorite, minus 200. He fights close, so no interest there. Inaba Ortega, just taped a bit of Ortega, not interested. Kai Kamaka, Adley Edwards. I taped this one. I thought there might be some value in Edwards. You know, he's got a good wrestling background. He's a lot of movement in and out. Good cardio, keeps Matt returning. And, you know, Kai Kamaka minus 200. He's never really trustworthy. I know Kamaka quite well, you know, dropping the ball against TJ Brown and dropping the ball against Chavez. You know, he's got a lot of physical gifts. He's very athletic. He's explosive. He's going to be a lot better striker here. And he's going to be a lot more physical. And the reason I passed is just, you know, Edwards, not very physical, not very strong. He's got good takedowns, like I said. Although on his regional scene where he's not fighting the best guys, he's beating him, but he's still losing control. You know, he's going to decision. Round 3, takedowns are coming a little bit less, a little bit harder. And, you know, I just think on the feet, Kai Kamaka is going to be landing the better shots. He does have strong hips. I was impressed with his split decision loss to Justin Gonzalez. That's a solid loss. Yeah, I think Edwards still has some value. It's just, I don't know, based on tape, I can't really play him. I think Kai Kamaka can take him down as well. I think in a weird way, Kamaka might have the better wrestling, even though Edwards has the background. You know, Pico just took him down with ease, although there was a lot of punishment in that fight as well. So I thought there might be some value in Edwards. I just can't. After tape, I didn't want to play it. Mads Bernal, Justin Gonzalez. So this one, I didn't look into it at all, obviously, other than taping the Gonzalez fight versus Kamaka. And I played Gonzalez versus Fisher. It was a levels fight. And I know Mads Bernal, you know, I faded him versus Pedro as a massive dog. He's just a little bit like Gaethje, you know, high guard, no defense, gasses out, not the best wrestling, good jiu-jitsu. And right before I went to bed, I was like, you know what, Justin Gonzalez might have some value as a dog without any tape, knowing how Mads Burnell fights. And then I woke up this morning and it was Pick'em. So I'm definitely going to take that one still. I think there still might be potential value. Hey, I just didn't get time. So that's the one that I missed. Yancy Medeiros, Charlie Leary. This is one I taped. The line seemed insane to me. A little bit of money's coming on Charlie already, which is a little bit annoying. But I mean, he's still a massive underdog. Essentially, Medeiros is quite washed. He's 35 years old. This is the guy that, he got cut from the UFC by losing decisions to Lando Venata and Damir Hadzovic. Hadzovic was rocking and wobbling him in rounds 1 and 2, taking him down. A kickboxer, taking him down, ragdolling him. Lando Venata 30-27'd him, and, I mentioned that when trying to fade Lando against Zellhuber, like Lando doesn't do that to anyone in the UFC. You have to be really low level. And then, got knocked out by Daniel Cerrone before that. And he essentially is just a brawler with bad defense, always gets hurt, always gets cracked, and comes on strong in round 3. Came on strong against Venata in third. Came on strong against Damir, almost won via rear naked choke. Just somehow went and beat Emmanuel Sanchez, a lightweight, in his debut as a massive underdog, like a 30-27. Even there, he was getting cracked, and Charlie Leary, very old, 40 years of age, looking quite washed. Got sparked clean by David Gallon. And then, I actually still played him against Siren back, and I feel robbed there. I watched that again, and he easily won rounds 1 and 2 and lost the decision. So he still has it in him, That was a good matchup for him because he's good. He's good everywhere, He can get his own takedowns. He's hard to wrestle. He's got good boxing. He's a dog. It's just, what it comes down to, I think Yancy Medeiros is just a little bit more durable. Charlie Leary is getting rocked and wobbled by everyone. And, if it is going to be a back and forth war, like it probably will be, I think Medeiros is going to have a little bit more durability and he will be able to take Leary's shots a bit more, but it's just no way in hell you can play him as a massive dog. Both these guys are washed. It's going to be a brawl. And Charlie Leary is going to fight for your money, man. I wish I had that early line. I mean, still, let me just check. They're giving Yancy Medeiros 80% chance to win this fight. He's going to be tagged up and hurt at some point. So, yeah, massive dog or pass. I might come around to it. Just 80% is insane. Ray Borg, Kyoji Horiguchi. You know what? I'm considering Ray Borg here. It's just, something's stopping me. So Ray Borg, right, after getting cut from the UFC, he went on his little streak still. He had a split decision with Ricky Simon. He's fought a bantamweight in his last 3, and he decision Jesse Arnett, decent fighter. Decision Cody Gibson, who was massive in Eagles FC, and then had a split decision against Ricky Bandana, which was a little bit less impressive. He was very close to losing that fight. It's just he rocked Ricky a couple of times in round 3. All these guys have massive size and reach advantage over him. He's not. He's not a bantamweight. He's tiny, and he's still beating him, right? He's 29 years of age. He's still got that dog in him. He's got that grappling style, no quit. He's also going to fight for your money, durable. And when I realized that this fight is back down at flyweight, that's what got me interested. He got me interested, and he's also fighting another small dude, Kyoji, who's not a big bantamweight, and he's dropping down to flyweight. And you look at Kyoji's fights, man, he's a good fighter. He's always been good. He gives up takedowns to Caldwell. I faded him against Apache Mix. I just watched this fight against Hiramasa, the second one, and he had his back taken there. And I was like, if Hiramasa can backpack him, so can Apache Mix. Apache was a decent-sized dog there. I think a lot of people expected him to gas over the 5 rounds. And, he's a good fighter, just a bit underwhelming. Knocked out by Kai. Knocked out by Pettis, which is very unfortunate. Lost the decision to Mix. He was very undersized there. He got dropped by Kintaro in his Ryzen fight, and came back and finished him with an arm triangle choke. And then he beat the crap out of Hiramasa. But he also kept grappling there, and Hiramasa had his back, reversed him. If he does that, man, then all the value's on Borg. You don't want to try to take down Ray Borg and try to take Borg's back, because Borg will reverse you and he will get on top, and then he will win that game 9 out of 10 times. You can't play the scramble grapple heavy game plan with Ray Borg. He will come out on top, and his boxing decent too. He rips the body. I actually like Ray Borg's boxing. So yeah, taping him, he was a little bit underwhelming. He really should have ran through Ricky Banderas, but now that I realize this is a flyweight, I'm interested. This could be Ray Borg's comeback. Just Kyoji's just on a bit of a slump recently. But yeah, another dog or pass for me. I haven't pulled the trigger. Let's address the comments. Big Bird, Tim Johnson decision, plus 400-ish. Does have some power, but he's probably not going to knock out Sama. Alexei versus Kiruka is a striker versus striker. He's going to take a shot on the underdog in Japan. Plus 8. 185 off value. I'll look into it, mate. I'll look into it. UFC betting experience. Leary going to fight for your money. Small stab, can't go wrong. That's it, man. As long as he doesn't get knocked out in round 3. MMA Kasanguni. If Ray looks good on the scale, I might take a shot. If he makes weight, you got to play some Ray. Aaron Pico, just James Gonzalez. Didn't really take this one. The line is out of this world. Pico probably wins. James Gonzalez is serviceable. He usually loses to good fighters, though. Phil Caracappa, Levi Moles, Bill Algeo, Mike Trezano. I played Cody Law. He beat Cody Law. Cody Law is a bit of a overrated. Also lost to Lincione. I played the under 1.5 at plus money on PFL against the Indian dude. He ran through him. That's actually what got me limited. I kept smashing those over-unders on PFL on Bet365, and they just banned me after that. They were absolute gold mines. Imper as well, and yeah, good old times. But yeah, this is a big step up in competition. I think, Pico wins. We'll see what some over-unders are. Malay versus Kana Watanabe. I wanted to play this fight, taping it. Like I said, Malay is really bad, man. I made money on her betting Justin Kish against her as a massive favorite. And then I live bet her against Bruna Ellen. I know a lot of the boys were on Bruna Ellen, and she almost won, but she dropped the ball, and I jumped on at Malay as an underdog. I think it was 1-1 going to the third. But she wants to grapple a lot, and she has horrible wrestling. She does a lot of sacrifice throws. She ends up on her back a lot. She gets reversed. She's not very physical. When she gets on top, that's her best game. She's quite good on top. I think, like I said, this whole division's bad. She got very lucky, fighting in 5 rounders. Dakota. A lot of her fights are close. Emily Dakota and Alejandra Lara, and she gets them in submissions in rounds 3 or later on, rounds 4 and 5. But she struggles early. Juliana Velasquez busted her up, took her down, reversed her, beat her there. And Justin Kish was the more physical lady. Actually took her down and reversed her as well. And yeah, Bruna Allen fight was very close. So I thought about playing Kana Watanabe. She's a judo girl. She's definitely got the better takedowns. So I thought McFarlane will try to grapple, and Watanabe is just going to get on top and work her game there. She ground and pounded Lara Joan to a win, the one we just spoke about. She had a split decision against Alejandra Lara, who horrible fighter, just very aggressive. She almost got knocked out there. She did get knocked out by Liz Carmouche in 30 seconds, which is a massive red flag. She almost got knocked out by Dennis Keyholds in the first 10 seconds. So absolutely zero head movement from this chick. Like, we're talking nothing. No head movement. So I wanted to play her, but it's just, the head movement, the lack of striking defense. She will engage in the ground game, which is McFarlane's best path. She did take down Denise and head her back, and Denise did reverse her twice. She's lost position. She lost a bit of position to Alejandra Lara. She lost some position to Yuan as well. It's just, I think she will get takedowns and she will get top down. So I do favor her as a favorite. It's just that this current line, $1.66, they're giving her 60%. So that's probably accurate. I don't see any value there. She probably does win 6 out of 10 times, and the other 4 times, Malay, wins round 3 and gets on top a couple times and wins. Plus, it's in Hawaii. But yeah, And what can I say? Aline Malay just can't play it. Alrighty, Rufion Stots Patchy Mix. The best fight. Probably the best fight across the whole weekend. Don't come at me. 19-1, 17-1. I reckon both these guys would be easily top 10. I was trying to think maybe top 5 in the UFC. Patchy Mix, not even 30 years of age. Still getting better. Rufion Stots 34. Just good everywhere. I played him a slight minus money against Sabatini, and then I had a bit of buyer's regret, and I just let it ride, and I think I got a little bit lucky there. He's just good everywhere, he's a southpaw, really fluid striker, good offensive wrestling, good defensive wrestling. When he gets on top, he's super sticky, super great top control, and really good back control and rear naked chokes. Good IQ as well. Good IQ, good cardio, just good everywhere. Patchy Mix, big bantamweight, tall, long, another southpaw, pressures, loves the guillotine, tricky, loves just the backpacker, loves jumping on the back, and bit of a bad takedown defense, maybe not the best cardio. And I remember taping him versus Magomedov, and I just thought someone's getting guillotine here. I know they both have good submission defense, but yeah, I just saw Magomed putting his head in a billion Barzola guillotines, and then he got his own guillotine, and then Patchy Mix putting his head in all of James Gallagher's guillotines as well. And in the end, he did get a guillotine, and I wish I pulled the trigger there. A lot of these times when I have an idea, I have a feeling of this long shot prop, I don't play it because it feels so long shot ends up happening. Last week it was Cummings by KO. I was like, he might have some good punching power up at light heavyweight, and I was like, nah, he just is a decision machine, and Herman is so durable, and I just felt that in my gut that that could be an underrated shot, and I just didn't play it. And Patchy Mix submission over Magomed was the other one. So whatever I feel like this week, I might just have to pull the trigger. But anyway, Mix was a slight dog. Now it's coming. Money's coming on him. Seems to be popular. I said I would play him as a dog after watching that fight. I don't know. Rufion Stots, he kept getting his back taken by Danny Sabatello. Obviously Sabatello not much of a finishing threat on the feet. Stots was lighting him up. He doesn't have much volume, which is annoying. If he had decent volume, he would be an amazing play here. I think personally I would rather play Stots just because his sprawl is amazing. He's a lot more athletic. He's got better striking. He's more functional on top, on bottom. He can probably get out of the body triangle. He can survive. Whereas Patchy Mix, he pressures. He doesn't mind being taken down just so he can hunt for the guillotine. If he doesn't get it, he ends up on his back. He plays guard a little bit. We've seen Juan Achaleta, just grapple him as he got tired. He had some back and forth sweaty moments against Albert Morales of all people. Some back and forth with James Gallagher. He just likes to scramble heavy fight. And I think Stots is kind of more trustworthy to shut you down. He can land kicks on the outside. He has really good distance management. And I think Danny Sabatello is a lot more harder to deal with, just elite wrestling cardio. He was there for 5 rounds. He was pushing the pace. Whereas Patchy Mix, might be on his back a little bit more, might gas out a bit quicker, might gas out from the scrambles. If he doesn't get the chokes, might gas out. But it's still like a fight that I'm not running to bet just because of, Mix is a weasel. He's good at getting to the back. And Stots was giving up his back to stand up against old mate Danny. I kind of feel like the lack of volume against Stots equals out his other advantages, and Mix's back takes and aggressiveness kind of equals it out. But yeah, I'll personally play Stots. Great fight though. Not even an hour. Beautiful. Let's go over the comments and then we'll finish it off. SC for all, or also known as on Sherdog. I forgot your name, sorry, mate. Lema might retire if she loses this weekend in her somewhat hometown. Yeah, she's been trying to retire for a while, which is a red flag. That could be a good live bet, another good live bet, because she always has good round 3. Big Bird, all the mixed value is gone now that he is the favorite. Indeed, I mean, even at $2.10, slight underdog, there wasn't much meat on the bone for me because I had Stots as a slight favorite personally. Who knows? I could be wrong. Alrighty, let's go over this card and call it a day. So Alexei didn't tape it. Bruno Ellen, easy dog or pass. I don't see how Joanne is going to cover minus 200. Franklin didn't look at it. Bobby King didn't look at it. Keanu Diggs didn't look. And Albert didn't look. Kai Kamaka, Adley Edwards, another dog or pass for me. I'm not really a fan. Edwards is a bit of a disadvantage in terms of physicality. Justin Gonzalez, I'm liking without any tape. I'll have to look into that one. Charlie Leary, have to take a little slight stab, even though, I don't like his chances. It's just 80% for Yancy Medeiros is insane. Ray Borg, dog or pass, see how it looks on the scale. That might be a play. Pico wins. I'll have to look at some over-unders. Lee Malay, Kana Watanabe. I favor Watanabe. Better takedowns, more physical. It's just not much value at 60% implied. Rafi on Stots, patchy mix. I favor Stots just to be the cleaner, to shut him down. Better striking, good sprawl, and just kind of survive the back takes and win a close decision. But yeah, see where the line goes. That's pretty much it. I mean, in terms of plays, I've literally got nothing at the moment. I wish I had something. Maybe leave a comment of your favorite play. That would mean a lot, and then I'll look into it myself. After this, I have some family obligations. I'm going to go, and then later on, I'll definitely be looking into LFA. I'll definitely finish the rest of these Bellator fights. I'll definitely be looking into some KSW, and I'll be finalizing some UFC. So you know where to find all my bets. Twitter, Sherdog, Discord. Discord is the place. A lot of good guys talking about a lot of different regionals. It's going off at the moment. Talking about some green KO, some over 1.5s, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, like and subscribe. Thanks for tuning in. And good luck on all your bets. Remember to leave some comments. It's good for the algorithm. Alrighty. See you later.